Hello, my name is Rolando Isla. I am a guru in Kalahi methodology and the head instructor and founder of Isla Mandarigma Kalahi, a school here in the Philippines. First things first, I want to apologize for any background noise like a jackhammer or motorcycles or whatever else. I hope that they're not too distracting. I thought that I would go over today some of the training and sparring equipment that we use here at my school. The first thing that I should probably say is that martial arts training, especially weapons training, is inherently dangerous. It's important to train smartly, use the equipment for their intended purpose, and to have respect for your training partner. Okay, the main sparring equipment that we use here at my school are sticks, padded sticks, replica swords, and to a very limited extent, real swords. Let's talk about sticks first. The main type of training stick that we use in the Philippines is rattan. There are three types of rattan. The the least expensive and most common rattan that you'll see available on the market. You'll see it in a sporting goods store, or you can go to Quiapo and buy it in one of the Army surplus stores, is a rattan type called palasan. It tends to be very light. This is an example of a palasan stick. The next level up would be tumalin. And then the next level up above that would be lapsika. The main difference between a lapsika stick, a tumalin stick, and a palasan stick isn't really the width or the circumference, it's the density. There's a noticeable difference in hardness and density between a lapsika stick and a palasan stick. To be quite honest, there isn't that much of a difference between a high quality tumalin stick and a fairly decent lapsika stick. In terms of our training, most of our training is done with tumalin. It's a great all-around stick that has nice weight, it's durable, and you can use it for both drilling and sparring. Palasan we tend to only use for sparring. It breaks easily, which is a good thing. Sticks break in sparring. That can't be helped. The reason why it's a good thing is that it means that it's also much more forgiving to the human body. Like I said earlier, the best kind of training is consistent training. It's better to have the stick break than your bone break. I personally wouldn't use lapsika for sparring. It's better to have a 25 peso palasan break than a 150 peso lapsika stick break. It's just, we're kind of cheap that way. It's a matter of economics. The other type of rattan sticks that you'll see on the market would be something like this. It's a multi-node stick. Again, these tend to be, sometimes people will say it's a lapsika stick. Not all multi-node sticks are lapsika. Many of them are, but not all. Most of them tend to be tumalin. And again, I would not use this for sparring because it's just too pretty. The other types of sticks that I get requests for here often are bahi and kamagong. These can be used for forms, your 5 count, your sayaw, and bahi you can use for impact training. You can hit with it. There are advantages and disadvantages for using them for either. For forms, the advantage of using a heavier stick is that you learn to use a heavy product. It builds up strength, and it teaches you about the limitations of using a heavier product that could cause real impact. You wouldn't be able to do a lot of the fancier flipping or rotational type movements that you would do with this stick that you could probably do with this stick. The disadvantage is that it is a heavier product. The likelihood of injury, especially for joints, is higher. So you have to be more careful in terms of your training. I would use these every now and then, 2 or 3 times a week. for forms training, just to build up strength, just to get the joints accustomed to using a heavier product. I would never use either of these products for sparring. It's far too dangerous. You can easily break bone, or if you land it properly, these could cause death. And it's just something that a responsible martial artist would do with a training partner. The other type of, for sparring, the other type of sticks that we would use are padded sticks. The most common type of padded stick that you would see here would be something like this. There are different varieties. Most of them don't have a brand name. This is Sticks brand name. You can find these at different sporting goods stores in Metro Manila and probably the Philippines. STIX. It's an excellent product. It tends to be more sturdy than other padded sticks. Most padded sticks that you buy, that you see in the palengke or the open market, tend not to have a long life. They tend to break very easily. This is an action flex stick. It's much more flexible. It's also more durable. It's more expensive. It's an imported product. Both these sticks are made with safety in mind. So, I would recommend using these. There are two main sporting styles here in the Philippines. The RP style, Arnis Philippines, tends to use padded stick. And they only wear headgear, they don't pad the body, they don't armor the body. Weka tends to use light stick, like this. Well, they'll use a lighter padded stick, like this. And instead of being unarmored, they'll be fully armored, from head to toe usually, like this. And they both have a distinct style to them when you see them side by side. RB tends to be more about distance and timing, whereas Wake Up tends to be more about flow and endurance. They both have their strengths, they both have their weaknesses. Most good martial artists here do both, just because you learn different aspects of sparring from doing them. I would not use Kamagom for anything other than forms. It's a very heavy stick. It's also a very brittle stick. If you use this for impact training, like we have here, they tend to break. This one's cracked. Other Bahi stick that we've had have shattered. The tips have flown off and hit somebody else. I would not use this for anything else. For sword style sparring, we use padded sword sticks. This is made by a student of Pekiti, Tirsia, Katipunan. I don't have his contact information handy, but if you contact Master Mickey or Master J of Pekiti, Tirsia, Kalahi, Katipunan, I'm sure they can put you in touch with the maker. It's an excellent product. It has a stiff material inside and foam padding outside. You can make hard contact with this, bearing in mind that it is meant for sword sparring. It's not meant for sort of hacking and the way that you would with a stick. So it's a fine, safe product for that. This is designed like a ginunting with a concave edge. The other product that I would use would be a polycarbon sword. This is made by Alan Fami of Kalahi Martial Arts. This is a very durable product that we've used for sparring, sword sparring, very technical, and it's lasted years. I highly recommend Alan Fami's products. He makes excellent stick bags, sticks, training knives, training swords. In terms of training knives, the one that you'll see most often is the cold steel training knife. These tend to mimic American military style training knives, or in this case the K-bar. Its main competitor would be the Bocker training knife. Both have their advantages and disadvantages. We like the Bocker because it has a felt edge. We're able to put lipstick or other marking material on here, and you can see the result of your cuts afterwards. When you spar, you can count the number of lines you have on yourself or on your opponent. And a popular type of training knife that's become more popular is this type of training knife, or the AccuStrike training knife. It has a battery inside. It makes a noise when you make contact, when you stab and when you slash. And it also has a beep. So you can have immediate feedback about the accuracy or the efficacy of your technique. The other training weapon, the other training tool that we use, not weapon, training tool that we use, would be actual swords. These type of swords, these are made in Leyte, Caraga Leyte. We use mostly for practice cutting. I wouldn't use them, I would never use them when I have a training partner. They're far too dangerous for sparring. I don't believe in the concept of live blade sparring, just because I don't think you can do realistic speed with them and not have somebody die. I think that training partners are precious. They're few and far between, and we should really take care of them. And even subconsciously, at the very least, we slow down and we protect our training partner whenever we use dangerous weapons. So I don't believe it's a realistic assessment of the type of speed that would you use that would happen when you're actually in a combat situation. This type of training sword, I believe, is good for practice cutting. Bottles, ropes, whatever. You can practice how efficient your cutting motion is, if it is a cutting motion. Oftentimes when people do stick martial arts, they tend to do more of a blunt edge hitting approach as opposed to a cutting approach. So this is a good test for that. I would be very wary of using it for forms training. I would only allow my most senior students to use these for forms training. And even then I would be very, I think you should be very careful with that. It's easy to cut yourself. Again, I would never use it with a partner. These are becoming more easily obtainable here in the Philippines now. And even if you just want something as a replica to hang on your wall, they're very much worth getting. Again, to reiterate, martial arts training is inherently dangerous. Weapons training, even more so. It's important to train smart, train with respect for yourself and your partner, and to be very careful. Have a great day. Thank you for watching my video.